Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lokatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page right here on Facebook to the daily live stream that I do for the card draw of the day. And that's really just, I meet with my spiritual team in the mornings and I do a card draw asking what is the energy that's most important for us to know about today for the highest good, and that can be shared with others, and especially through social media. And so this is the time this morning. I know I said yesterday I'd said I'd do it in the afternoon, but you know how things kind of roll around here is got to be flexible, got to be in the flow of things. Paul has to go into work this afternoon, and so I thought I am gonna do the live stream this morning while he's home to help with George. Because George was a handful yesterday. Yeah. Hey, hello, Rochelle. So good. You. I just listened to your phone message this morning, and it sounded like you had a good time in the Keys in Florida. Hot, humid, but you had a good time. So I'm glad you're home and you had safe travels, right? Yeah. Yeah. Now you get to rest up from the vacation. We should get a vacation after a vacation, don't you think? Because whenever we've come back from, any trip really, when you get back, you still have to get caught up on everything that you needed to do while you were gone. So now you have to do that. And then you also have the extra laundry and the unpacking and all that. But hey, you had a good trip in there. That was a good thing, right? So welcome to Star Nations Academy, from where I do the live streams from, the broadcasting. The live streams and all the shows really that I'm a host or a co-host of. And here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, which is about an hour east of the Mississippi, northwestern Wisconsin, I got up to 29 degrees this morning. Yes, 29, below freezing. Yeah, it was cold. It is cold. We're supposed to have a high of 53, and I think we might be in the low 40s, maybe. Yeah, cloudy. It's a good day to bake. If I was a baker, I'd be baking today because the oven should be on. That's how cool it is out. Yeah. So here, when I do the card draw in the mornings, I try to space it somewhere in a bit of a quiet time. Sometimes it's between the time I'm waiting for my mom, to need the rest of the assistance in the morning and doing the best she can, as much as she can on her own still, which is a good thing. And now with George, and so I kind of have to space it in a place where it's a little bit quiet. And so this morning, it was good to sit down with a cup of coffee. But this is the new deck that we're using now. We just switched to this deck yesterday. It's brand new. I mean, spanking brand new. It's by Kyle Gray. It's called Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards. And the artwork is by Lily Moses. I found the deck on Amazon. I knew I wanted to get a new deck. Felt the urge, the pull for a new deck, but I wanted it to have an indigenous feel to it. And there's not that much for Native American oracle decks out there. There isn't. And this one is more indigenous, not necessarily just Native American. It covers many different belief systems across the world, right? Across Grandmother Earth. And so I saw it. It kind of jumped off the page to me, and so I ordered it. The thing is that when I ordered it, it hadn't been released yet. It had been published, but not released yet, the launch, right? And that happened about a week ago, I think, or so. And so this past Thursday, I didn't do a live stream. I spent the hour that I would have done the live stream getting acquainted with the card deck. So it's been cleared, it's been blessed, It's been dedicated to the light and only to the light. And so I went through all 55 cards, looked at each one of them. It's like meeting I was going to say a new friend, but it's not. It's like seeing somebody, a friend that you haven't seen in a while. For me, it could maybe a couple of decades kind of thing. And looking at all the artwork and just getting acquainted with the deck. It was fun. It was. And so yesterday was the first card draw from the new deck. And I think that everybody liked that first card, especially the artwork on it. The thing is that George was my puppy, was very vocal and really, really wanting my attention a lot. And I couldn't figure out what was going on with him, because usually he comes in, he might be playful for a little while, and then he's quiet because he fell asleep, right? Not yesterday. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, and he had his one of his shots yesterday morning, and honestly, I think that was a part of it. It kind of his digestive system just wasn't what it usually is, and so he needed to go out to go to the bathroom. That was his deal yesterday. So thank you everybody for being very patient with that piece, and so I ended it kind of early, the broadcast. And in between time, trying to get the information out, I did get some really good feedback about the cards themselves. And it is true. This deck is so brand new. So brand new. The box is really pretty. It is published by Hay House. And Kyle Gray, he's from the UK. Actually, he's based out of I think it was Glastonbury. No, I'm sorry, Glasgow, Scotland. And so I have a thing about Scotland, you guys, Ireland and Scotland. And so it's kind of cool to see that. And this is the book that comes with it, that tells everything about the cards. Yeah. And he has a couple sentences in here that just kind of jumped out at me. I want to share again with you guys. This last sentence that he writes in the dedication, he says that angels and ancestors know what you need to know, and through connection and ceremony with this oracle deck, you can allow them to bring messages that will help you carve your path, and live a life that is filled with magic. There was so much about this deck that really fit Star Nations, really fit me. Okay, and to the point where he was even talking about the deck being the bridge between the ancient information coming through the oracle deck, through the beings that wanted to be a part of this deck, and so I felt this connection with it. Yeah, yep, they are pretty, aren't they? Hey, Mary Anderson, Fry, good morning. Yep. Thank you for reminding Rochelle about sharing. I start talking and I forget. Yeah, it'd be very helpful if you could do this, if you don't mind, is to like the broadcast and to share it. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to share it to my timeline, my newsfeed, and let my friends know that I am broadcasting. I'm live streaming. And asking them to join. There we go. That one's done. And now I'll do the Star Nations Radio Network magazine closed group. And to get that done, and we'll just let them know that we're here. Not whoops. Quick keys are quick. Except I tapped the wrong one. Peekskill. Anybody know where Peekskill, New York is? Been there a couple of times. That was the quick key that came up, and tapped on it by accident. I'm live streaming right now. Please join me. There we go. And we get to the closed group. And we're done. Yay. Rochelle, thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that. And, oh, Mary, I finally made it to the shipping place yesterday to mail out your free back issue of Star Nations magazine. It should be to you, I would imagine, by Monday, maybe, because I just mailed it yesterday afternoon. So Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Expect something in the snail mail. And did you guys know it's International Coffee Day today? I didn't know that. Paul reminded me as I was pouring my coffee. He says, it's coffee day today. All right, so here is the card that came. Actually, we got two of them today. The first one popped out, and the second one came right behind it. And so we'll cover both of them. This is the first card. It's winter. Take care of your needs is the message. And it's the wolf. Yeah. How many people have seen a wild wolf? Seeing wolves is one thing because we can see them in captivity, right? We can see them in zoos or in rehabilitation centers, that kind of thing. You know, when they've been injured and they're taken somewhere for them to heal and to get the kind of medical treatment they might need. Yeah. Or, you know, sometimes the DNR, state DNR, sometimes what they have are educational places where, for instance, they might have a pack of wolves or small pack because they were confiscated from people who had them illegally, right? And so then they become a part of the educational center, right? There happens to be one like that in Poinet, Wisconsin, where I used to live. And so, you know, to be able to see a wolf in those places is kind of nice because we can actually sit. They usually have benches where you can watch the animals. And so you can sit there and really actually connect with them energetically and to have a conversation with them or just to be in their energy field. But I was curious about, has anybody in the live chat ever had seen a wolf in the wild? A wolf in the wild. Because it is a little bit different. Here, we'll show that again. Isn't that artwork on there is just gorgeous. Oh, I don't know what that means. Cancel. Okay, I don't know what that meant. I got this pop-up that says reload site change may not be said. They want me to reload it, and I don't want to do that because we'll lose the connection. I know Facebook had some issues I heard yesterday. Okay. Let's hope that goes away. It's not going away. I don't know. I want to make sure that you guys can still see me and hear me because I'm getting this really weird pop-up from Chrome. It says reload site, ? Changes you made may not be saved. I don't want to reload the site. Because if I reload the site, I'm afraid we'll lose the connection. And it keeps popping up. All right, so I'm going to keep going. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I'm going to check my phone. That might be a good way to do that. Okay. Okay, it looks like it's doing okay. I mean, it's got quite a lag to it. They've just seen me sharing the the live stream. So anyway, I'm going to keep going and see if you guys can have a problem with hearing me or seeing me. Oh, good. Thank you, Mary. I can see and hear you. Absolutely good. So thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, we had the wolf, and the wolf is one of the cards that comes under seasons, I believe. Winter represents winter. And here it is. Yep, it's one of the seasons in the card deck. And the message on there is take care of your needs. Take care of your needs. As we just passed the fall equinox, right? So we're in fall, and when we're in the energy of the fall, we're actually getting the last remnants of the harvest in. Usually it's those root vegetables, right? Apples are right at the end of the season, that kind of thing. Pumpkins, squash. We're starting to see those coming in through the last harvest. Yeah, and I think, let me think. Carla Jo Worth, who is one of our contributing writers for Star Nations magazine, wrote an article for the September issue. It was the second harvest, and she explained what the second harvest is from a pagan point of view, right? And she was talking about the celebration of Mabon. And Mabon is a Celtic tradition, Old Irish maybe, and pagan for sure. And so she explained about that last harvest and storing that last harvest and doing the canning and that kind of thing, right? And then also doing the ceremonies that are at the very end of the fall season as we work our way toward the next high ceremony time, which is Samhain or Halloween. And so with this card, with winter, I was thinking about how even though in modern times, we still do the same thing. We start preparing for winter. And now is the time to really, really focus our attention on preparation for winter. For those who heat with wood, right? You're really bringing in the cords of wood because you've probably been cutting all summer. And now you're doing the last bits, hoping that you're going to have enough corded wood to burn for the winter. Yeah, and if you are a furry, four-legged, like a squirrel, you'd be gathering nuts and things in your home so that you have something to get you through those really cold days in winter when it's too cold to go out, right? To hunt or scavenge for food. Yeah, so we're all preparing for winter for this card that showed up, right? Yeah, but what does the wolf have to do with winter? On the Native American medicine wheel that I live by and study, wolf is in the west, and in the west is autumn, fall, and so that's where we place wolf. And in this card oracle deck, they place the wolf in the north, and this is what he says about the wolf. The winter card features a wolf, one of few animals that stay active year-round. One of the few animals that stay active year-round. We're one of those other animals that stay active year-round. Cardinals are another one, right? That just come to mind. But what do we do, even though we're active year-round? What are the things that we do during those times when other animals might be hibernating, right? We're still carrying on. But sometimes we may find ourselves doing things more alone or with fewer people around us than usual. In the warmer months, in the spring and the summer, even the fall, we may find ourselves with others more often because the weather's nicer. We can actually get out and do things with other people, right? In the winter, especially if you live in a cold climate like we do here in the upper Midwest, um, sometimes we make plans with friends and we end up having to cancel or reschedule because of the weather. Either it's too frigid cold in the winter when it's 30 below zero with the wind chill factor, and you're going, I don't want to go out. I'd rather stay home where it's warm, right? Or we have the snowstorms or the ice storms, and what do they call those now? Polar vortexes. Yeah, they didn't have that when I was a kid. It was just plain cold. They didn't have that name on it. But we tend to stick closer to home, which means that we may be around less people. We may find ourselves doing things, even some things alone, more than we would during the warmer months, right? I don't know. Do you guys find that that you might find yourself not so much in around many people during that time frame? So there is winter, a time when we can take care of our needs, because the timing, how we do things could be slower. We're not as active, right, in the wintertime. Kyle goes on to say that if you feel the need to go it alone at this time, know that wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space. All right. So what jumped out at me was that will help you move beyond your insecurities. That wolf medicine. It kind of reminds you of, it's actually a myth about the lone wolf. You might see a wolf by themselves, traveling on their own, but usually what happens is that's a young male wolf, and what they're doing is that they're finding their mate, and maybe starting their own pack, right? And so it is a myth about a lone wolf. Yeah, because wolves are more community oriented. The lead wolf, the alpha male, and the alpha female really do take care of their families. They mate for life. The alpha male and the alpha female mate for life, and they take care of their family. They're hunters. The female is actually the hunter and brings food into the children and to the old ones. The pack leader, the alpha male, isn't always in the lead. Many times they're behind. They're the last one coming through with the pack, because what they're doing is they're protecting from the behind, right? But they're also watching and caring for the older wolves and also the younger ones. So anybody who is having problems keeping up with the pack, they will make sure that they're taken care of along the way. I didn't know that. We have a wolf expert here who lives near Toma and has done some classes and has written several books, and Paul happens to know him. So I get to learn a little bit vicariously through Paul. But yeah, so when we look at this kind of card with the winter, that's what came to my mind. Is yes, we do do more things. It may look like a solitary, but we're also taking care of those people in our family or in our community who might need some extra help in the winter, right? Yeah. Kyle says that in the animal realm, now you have to remember he's writing from a UK kind of perspective, okay? Winter is a time of hibernation and retreat. This is when we're thinking about curling up with a blanket, and reading or watching a good movie or going to bed early. Although you might not feel as bright as you'd like to be, a primal force within encourages us to continue. Yeah, to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. He also says that we have an opportunity to move beyond our fears. You may feel like you're in the dark and that he says to get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem like a challenging process. Need to ask ourselves what we need to do to feel supported and alive. During this time when we're in a more quieter space is when we may have the opportunity to actually face our fears, right? To spend time in meditation or to spend time conversing with our spiritual team and working on those aspects of ourselves that in the summertime, in the warmer months, we may be really too busy to pay much attention to. Yeah. Let's see. I want to check my phone because I think, I'm missing some. I knew I was missing some comments. All right. So Mary's saying, I believe that I saw 2 wolves about 12 years ago, not far from my home. They were way too large to be coyotes. Hey, Jackie. Jackie's with us too. Yeah. I just had this discussion with my sister, one of my sister-in-laws, Heidi. She's up for the week and from Illinois, and we were talking. She said that she's trying to get some pictures of some elk, and said that they were trying to find one of the herds, and they were sitting quietly in their car, and they could hear this sound, and one of the ladies that work with the elk was with Heidi, and she says, oh, that could be, maybe it's a coyote or a wolf or something like that, And so I was talking to Heidi about it. I said, the wolf call is very distinctive. It doesn't sound anything like a coyote's call. Coyotes are kind of yip, 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 and really the wolf call is a long, deep howl. And once you hear the two of them, they don't sound anything alike. And you're right, Mary. Is that when you first see a coyote, you think, oh, that's a big dog. That's really big. It's about the size of a German Shepherd or maybe even a little bit bigger. A wolf is even bigger than a German Shepherd. Yeah, I wouldn't put them as big as like a Great Dane. But they're tall. They got long, long legs, and if when they stand, they could be taller than me for sure. I'm almost 5'5", and so they're very, very large, very, very large. They could probably easily weigh over 70 pounds for a dog, right? Because that's where that's their ancestors are the wolves. So big. They usually have really big feet too. Their paws are huge paws. When you see a wolf paw print, it's usually even bigger than my hand. Yeah, they're big. They're huge. So in the wintertime, we may have the slowness. The pace is different in winter. And so we can actually call on the wolf medicine to help us, give us that courage to be able to identify maybe a fear. Maybe it is a remembering of a situation that actually started or is the root of a fear. And the thing is that we've been talking about this since May. This aspect of facing, turning around and facing the fear. It's all about our healing, right? It's all about our healing. And what Kyle is saying is that winter is an actually good time to do that. And you can actually call on the wolf medicine to help with that. He says that when this card arrives, that we have the opportunity, we're given the opportunity to go slower, to be at a slower pace, and to tap into that deeper healing. You know, in a way, if you think of spirit or even universal energy, prana, right? Prana. And many cultures can also call it mana. And that is sacred food, right? Sacred food. That kind of work that we could be doing in the wintertime, facing the fears, getting to the root of issues, right? Our health issues and how it relates to a spiritual issue. We're really feeding our soul. We really are. And so we could see it as a time, this time that we're in right now as we're approaching winter, is getting prepared, stirring up the prana or the mana to be able to do the work that we need to do in the wintertime. Yeah. I forget the name of it. There's a Lakota word, and I can't recall the word, but there is it's dried meat, usually, you know, whether it's buffalo or deer, and dried. And what they do is they pound it into almost a powder. Okay, it's literally like grinding it. Okay, they're getting it into a smaller, almost like don't want to call it dust either, but it's a very fine, very fine. And they also use a fruit in there, usually choke cherries or blueberries or something like that. And it's all pounded together. Some might even call it pemmican. I think that's a word that's used out west. That's not a Lakota word. But they use that in ceremony. And it's used to feed the spirit. And when we take it into and we take a little bit, we don't need much. When we take it in, it's feeding the spirit. It's spirit food. And so that's what this kind of reminds me of, is the work that we could be doing in the wintertime, and calling on the wolf medicine to help us to have the courage to face the root of a fear, the root of a situation, to heal it, right? To gain the wisdom from it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so that was the wolf card. I'm looking at the time. I want to make sure that I want to cover this one. This card, you know, there's 55 cards in this deck. And I put the card that we had yesterday called the Knight. I put it back in the deck, and I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. And then the wolf jumped out, right? I was just getting ready to do another shuffle, and just brought the cards up, and this next card literally fell out of the deck. He's back. It's the Knight. And I thought, well, that's true. We really didn't cover him very well yesterday, I don't think. But the Knight showed up again. The Knight in shining armor. The Knight of the Templar. All those things, all those times when we think of medieval times, of the knight, because there's a lot of folklore, there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of stories around the knights of the Round Table, those things that come to mind. And the knight, and how the message there at the bottom says, be brave and honest. Be brave and honest. So the knight, that was we would call it their career, or their life's work, their soul work, right? And they were trained to be a knight. And many times their knighthood came by the anointing from a king or a queen, that they were given the special honor of becoming a knight. And you can see them, how the king or the queen would take the sword and dub them on their shoulders, right? Knighting them. And the knight, in return, what they do is they pledge their sword to the king or the queen. In other words, they're giving their life to this royal so that they can be protected, and they fight for them, right? So with this card, our inner warrior, our inner knight comes forward, and helping us to have the courage to be brave, to be brave, to stand in our truth, to take a stand sometimes, to take a stand for our truth. And I think he also said something about, having the courage to do, I'm going to put it in air quotes, the right thing. I would say that it would be to have the courage to be brave, to do it in a good way, to do it from your heart. Yeah. To do an action, to take action, or to say something, and to do it in the best way possible. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll say a short prayer. give me the strength, give me the courage, help me to be brave, to say what needs to be said, or to do what needs to be done, right? And sometimes we have to really know ourselves to do that, to take a stand for something that we truly believe in. What do they say? Believe in it with heart and soul, that we're willing to take a stand for it, to pledge our sword to it. Yeah. There was something else that jumped out at me when I reread the messages for this card, is that the Knights Templar, what they did was they were on quests, right? They were trying to find the holy items that had been taken. And the most famous one, that we hear the most often, I should say, is the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. And some people believe that it was an actual cup, a wooden cup. And that if you drank from the cup, that you would be given eternal life, right? And some people, there's a belief out there that the Holy Grail is actually a woman's womb. Yeah. So that our immortal soul comes into the earth plane through the womb. And so the Holy Grail, right? Yeah. So when you're thinking about the knight in that way, we're thinking about how the Knights Templar protected the Holy Grail. And so we can actually say that there's a protection from the knight about our spiritual growth and our spiritual expansion. That when we stand up for ourselves in our truth, um, doesn't mean that we have to convince anybody. We're not asking for permission, but we're standing in the truth, standing in our own truth, our individual truth. And we're allowing that to speak for itself, basically, right? And sometimes that's hard to do. Sometimes that's really, really hard to do. Hey, Jules is with us. Jules, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I have to double check my phone because I noticed that the chat stopped on the live stream. So I'm not sure what that's about. Facebook is having time. That's all I know. Did you hear about the breach that was done that they released? I don't know exactly when it happened, but there was a breach in their security. So I think it was at 50 million people affected. I didn't have any problem yesterday at all with it. Sorry. Coffee grounds. Bad filter. It probably slipped in the coffee maker. There's nothing like taking a drink of coffee and then you have the coffee grounds in there. It's like, oh. All right. So, so the knight represents the warrior within. The warrior within. And this card also brings a sense of justice. Justice. That sometimes we don't have to do much, but be present for justice to occur. Kyle writes that please know that the universal energies are working to bring everything back into order, and you don't need to force anything through your own will, through your will. That it's all in divine order. The only thing you have to do is show up, is to be there, standing in your truth, allowing your convictions to speak for themselves. Coffee grounds. And I hear George and Paul. Here they come. Here they come. Oh, hi, George. Hello, baby. I don't know if you heard them. I like the feet sounding on the floor. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that. So the knight is here for us today too. You know, when you put these two cards together, right? You're putting the wolf, taking care of our own needs, and preparing for, actually calling on the wolf medicine to help us be brave to face those fears. And we have a slower pace in our life in the winter, and it's a good time to do that kind of reflection, and calling on the medicine to help us to be brave to face those fears, to heal them, right? And then the knight comes again, so we could finish the discussion about him. But it also has to do with being brave and standing in our truth, our spiritual convictions, that there's nothing that we need to do. We don't have to convince anybody, ask their permission, but just stand in the truth, in our own truth, and allow that truth to speak for itself. We don't have to assert our will in it for any justice to happen. It's all in divine order. And so I feel that the information for today about the energy is about really getting to know ourselves. And I just been photobombed. Did you see that? There's the energy for today is to take care of ourselves and to get to know ourselves really well so that we know. All right, that's enough. See, the sign in the back says, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. We just saw that. Okay, this is why I started doing the live streams up here, because this is what usually happens down at the house. And so when we get to know ourselves well, that we can stand in our truth, we've discerned for ourselves what our beliefs are, and we can stand in it, stand in our truth. And the knight is there, that warrior within, with their broadsword, right? Yeah. That's what I think the energy is about today. So maybe preparing for winter, preparing for those times when our life is a little bit slower, and that we can spend some time in reflection and asking our spiritual team to assist us in healing at the root of fear that has been blocking or interfering with our spiritual growth. Yeah. How's that? Oh, Jules is laughing because of Paul walking behind me. Yeah. Hey, Jules. So as your day unfolds, see how this information goes along with it for you. See where it occurs, where it comes through for you. And to, oh, that George is so cute. And if the information resonated with you, I say grab it, embrace it, use it. See if you're directly using it, affecting you, or if you're a witness to it. Because either way, we're learning something, right? We also have the part that it might not resonate with you at all, and that's okay too. You can just let it lie, leave it there, or you can become the messenger, because you're still an energy worker in that way. You're the messenger. Perhaps you know someone who would enjoy the information or has been looking for similar information, and you can just share the link with them. Yeah, and be the messenger. And that's all you have to do. Yeah. So in what's coming up? We are getting prepared for another class here at the Star Nations Academy. Yeah, we're getting prepared for the Mystical Healing 101 with Polly Jo LeBay. That's coming up on the weekend of October 5th. And let me tell you, this is an experiential class. It's all about healing the heart chakra. It's all about removing those obstacles, that interference, the debris, clearing it up, healing, and so that you're able to be more of your authentic self, who you came here to be, right? And when we heal around the heart, that's the seat of the soul, right? That's where, when you live from your high heart, you're a balance between your mind and your heart. And Polly Jo is going to be here to be able to help us lead us through that, a healing weekend. If you're interested in joining us, we still have some room. You can go to our website, starnations.org, and go to the Academy page, and there's all kinds of information there for you. Polly Jo is coming out from Massachusetts, and what she's bringing with her to teach this class is the first time she's ever taught from the information outside of her school to be here. And so it's going to be a really good weekend. That's all I got to say. So anyway, Paul and I are busy getting things prepared here for that class. And I'm also right smack dab in the middle of the October issue. I am working on preparing the contributing writers articles for layout. That's where I'm at right now. And I worked late last night on it and get to finish that up hopefully this afternoon. And so we can pass it off to the layout specialists, and so we can begin that process. Yeah, I think you're going to like the October issue. A lot of good things coming from those articles. What else is going on? Getting the shows for next week prepared. Polly Jo just sent me her information for her weekly shows. on Tuesday, and mine's on Tuesday night. Communications from home. I believe what we're going to be doing on Tuesday night is we're going to be talking about numerology and karma. I do believe we're going to finish that conversation that we started a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So that's what we're up to here at Star Nations, and we got a good Saturday coming right in front of us. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for tomorrow's card draw and energy information coming for us. And until then, Bama Mina, that means until we see each other again. I love you guys. Have a really good day. If they'll let me out. There we go. Have a good day, everybody.